Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular Monomoy Regional School Committee meeting on December 17th, 2014. I'll call the meeting to order. Could I have a motion to approve the last meeting's minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, it's
Abstention because I wasn't here.
Thank you, Ed. It's unanimous with one abstention. Public comment. The public is choosing to be quiet this evening. We'll have recognitions from our superintendent, Scott.
Just really quick, having a school committee meeting 1 week after the last, I think this happened, but in between the last two. I had the pleasure of attending the Winter Choral and Instrumental Festival at the new Monomoy Regional Middle School, and it was absolutely fabulous. I thought Diana Toscano, the choral director, did a great job with having a small army of 5th, 6th, and 7th graders not only singing but also dancing with their songs. And then Gordon Napier, our instrumental music teacher, had both a 5th and 6th grade band and a 7th grade band. And I had a number of parents, particularly from Chatham, grab me afterwards, just commenting on how refreshingly different the middle school was. I mean, because last year, there I don't think were 10 students in the entire band for the high school commencement, and to see more than that just in the front row of one of the two bands was great. I mean, it was a fun time. It was a standing room only. I learned that you could come much earlier to even find a place to sit in the gymnasium. And I was mentioning to Bill Burkhead that it was nice to kind of have the unveiling there, but maybe next year there were so many people to have that event actually happen here in the auditorium. Might be even a better venue for them.
I would echo Scott's comments. As a grandfather and grandmother, we were at the December Music Festival also. I have a 7th grade grandson who plays the bass. He's not going to give up his day job yet as a student, but it was an absolute treat. Full house, and it's the yin and the yang. I'll share that with you. Today, he and a couple of the basketball players at the Monomoy Middle School needed a ride home, so I was instructed to be there at 4 o'clock, but Pops, wait outside. So music, come inside and enjoy, but as far as an elder, we know what color the car is, and so I did do that. So,
But I thought an interesting fact from that evening, over 40% of our middle schoolers are in either chorus or band. And my own take as a parent, and my daughter was so inspired that that the following Monday, or this past Monday, she joined the choir because she saw so many of her friends having fun. So it was a nice opportunity to really showcase and get other students inspired to join.
our student representative, Lane, welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening. So I have my highlights. I never feel like I get them all, but hopefully we'll just talk about some goings on at the high school. So to start off, our Latin class is starting off the holiday season by translating How the Grinch Stole Christmas in Latin. And we're doing our stoical unit, so we're really into the holidays, and we decorated the hallway with copies of How the Grinch Stole Christmas in Latin. So, secondly, our Spirit Week started today. We had Holiday Pajama Day today, and tomorrow we are wearing hats, gloves, jackets, our winter gear, so we should be nice and warm tomorrow.
Turn the
And
heat down? Turn the-
yeah.
Good. Every little bit helps.
And right before our winter break on Tuesday, we're having a pep rally last block, so we're very excited about that. And as part of our holiday celebration as well, the peer leaders have been doing a Pay It Forward tribute. So our peer leaders have been just kind of randomly handing out gift cards to Dunkin' Donuts, some pencils and pens, and everything says Pay It Forward on it. So if you get something, you're supposed to pay it forward. And I've actually had 2 teachers, well, one today, one yesterday, actually start crying because they were so happy about getting Pay It Forward gifts. So it's going really well. On Monday, the Earth Science classes and Earth Club took a field trip to Mass Maritime and CMAS, where at Mass Maritime we went into the buildings that were, I guess, ecologically friendly, and we talked about how they preserve water, and we actually got to go inside their wind turbine as well. And at CMAS we saw how they recycle and how where their trash goes and where our trash goes, and it was interesting because the trash from Harwich and Chatham goes to CMAS, so it was nice to see that. Also, our musical auditions for Grease are on Monday, so the pressure's on to memorize the songs and the lines to get ready. And the girls and boys basketball and the ice hockey team all won their first games this past week, so a lot of school pride going on. There was a full student section on Monday at the boys basketball game. Also, tomorrow night is the high school winter concert for the band and the chorus, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of people tomorrow to celebrate the first concert in the auditorium. And lastly, the student council, I think Sam had mentioned this last time, but we are still doing this, is selling candy canes at lunch to send to friends or faculty and they'll be delivered on Tuesday, the last day of school before break. So that will be a nice treat before we go on to break. So that's it.
Very good job, Lane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you leave,
Oh, okay.
you don't know me very well. If you think you can leave that easily. I don't know how quickly these tapes don't get posted very quickly, I imagine, but you mentioned there's a concert tomorrow night.
Yes.
So I was just curious, in case anybody actually does get to see the video before then, how much it costs and what time it starts.
How much it costs?
Somebody knows.
$5? I think 7 o'clock too. So sorry. Yeah, I think 5 o'clock.
More
It might
importantly-
be $2 for students too.
More importantly, could
Oh.
you give us a little taste of the Grinch in Latin, a little of that?
Oh my gosh. I wish I would have brought it. I almost brought it with me. We have it's 45 pages, and every night we do a little bit more and a little bit more. And I'm trying to think. Jess, what was our quote of the week this week? Do you remember? From the Grinch? I don't remember either. Yeah, just Grinches. And then Lightus is the Whovilles and all that. The light people is what they're called instead of the Whoville. So it's funny because some kids were like, oh yeah, it's going to be great. We could just read the English version too, but it's totally different. So we didn't luck out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lane.
Thanks.
Under reports and discussions, our Superintendent Scholar 2014-2015 recognition and award.
Well, I would like to go and invite Jessica Wilson to come up, even though she is not prepared to translate the Grinch for us. So Jessica, why don't you come up and I will go wax poetically about you and present you an award. And
Thank you.
that's good. And then, can you snap a picture? So Jessica, in all seriousness, this is my 6th time doing a superintendent's award to students, and prior to that as an administrator, so I've been doing this for a while as an administrator and being behind the scenes working with the superintendent to nominate students. So the award is entitled the Certificate of Academic Excellence, and school districts across Massachusetts have their superintendents are allowed to provide an award. It's based on how many students in your district or in your graduating class. So given the size of Monomoy Regional High School, we have one award. Even though it's called the Certificate of Academic Excellence, this is the first time that I'll be giving the award to the person who's ranked number one in the class. And there's a reason for that. There's the award is, you have an ability to give the award to anyone in the top 5% of your class. So there's a debate over all of these students and what are the great things that they bring to the school and to the community. And a lot of times there's, maybe it's the number 2 person or number the 11 person, that hits there. But for you, it was a really easy conversation that went on amongst the administrators and the guidance staff here at the high school, given what you've brought to the high school in the past and what you bring here to Monomoy Regional High School. So Jessica is not only first ranked in her class, she's taken the hardest classes we have, our AP courses. She's excelling in Latin despite not hearing the French, just 45 pages from memory. But not only that, she has been the class secretary, a peer leader. She sits on the student council. She's a 3-year varsity soccer. Now, was that 4 now? 3 years for varsity soccer. She'll be going into her 3rd year of varsity tennis. She was part of the Dominican Republic trip that we approved and sent students off on. So she has been involved in all different facets, and so Jessica, congratulations. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Bill will have this tweeted out in 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, what great news. The Regional High School Stan Washington DC field trip, February 2014. Welcome.
Thank you. I don't know where you want me.
Right over here,
Okay,
it's
okay,
the
yeah.
podium business.
Good heavens. John Dixon, I'm
Hey, John.
a social studies teacher at the high school and the stand advisor. And this, I trust you all got I sent a 1-page summary in, and that's all in your packets. You all saw it, because I didn't make copies. This is the 5th time we'll be doing a national conference at DC for STAND, which is Students Taking Action Now Darfur. It's an anti-genocide student movement of which we've been part of for the last 8 years. That originally was activated by the genocide in Darfur, but certainly worked on issues in Congo, in Syria, in Burma, and other places. So this last year, actually, was Jess still here? There he is. Yeah, I have to refer to Jess. Jess went on the trip last year, and I think we went the year before also, but you didn't go the year before, I believe. So this would be Jess's 2nd trip. And Jess, among other things, is co-president of STAN. And it's very much a working trip. It's a national conference of student activists and other activists. In fact, the one we went to last year, we were about the only students at. It was mostly adult activists working on genocide issues. And we had met with people such as John Prendergast, who's very big in the movement, and Even had a luncheon visit by Nancy Pelosi, who works on the issues as well. So it's a 3-day conference. The first 2 will be at the Center for American Progress, hosted by Jewish World Watch and the Enough Project. And the 3rd day is a lobbying day where we'll be going around Capitol Hill, meeting with our legislators and legislative staffs. And it's very much, I would say, a working vacation. I imagine Jess would attest to that especially that day on Capitol Hill was a lot of walking back and forth between the House side and the Senate side of Capitol Hill, and in the snow last year, but hopefully not the snow this year. We get some, government stuff in. We get to do a Capitol tour, and we're actually leaving a day early. It's the 2nd weekend of February break, so we're going to be leaving Friday morning and coming back Monday night, and we'll miss the 1 day of school on Monday if you approve the trip. But kids are giving up the second half of their vacation to go on this really working trip. But leaving on Friday, we have about a day to do some Smithsonian's, go to the Holocaust Museum, and do some other things. But before we get deep into the conference, so I'm happy to take any questions or defer them to Jess.
I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Thank
For kids to get involved with something rather than just learn from your books.
Thank you.
I'm reminded, I think it was on the sports news today, something Tom Brady's father said. It's not the words you speak, it's the deeds you do. And how powerful. I think of our #1 student. Earlier, someone said something about, Lane mentioned this activity of paying it forward. You kids have already started that. So what a great goal that is as you grow through college, to keep that in mind, is paying things forward, such as kindness. So do we have a motion, or do we wait till action step? These folks might want to go early.
I move to accept the trip.
Second.
And any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thanks, John, for
Thank you very much.
Howard's Chatham Little League.
We can give an update on conversations we've had or things we have to think about.
I just wanted to I spoke with the gentleman from the Howard Chatham Little League, and I'm in full support. I think it's a wonderful thing. The only consideration that we need to have is to make sure we have an agreement in terms of the application of any pesticides on the field. As a school district, we have some pretty strict posting regulations and everything that we need to make sure that, we're in sync, if the kids are gonna be out in the playground, and it's not gonna be a concern, but it's just something that we need to put in an agreement that we have with the organization.
And this is something that both Sam Hine at the elementary school and I fully support seeing happen.
Thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
So, question or comments, Brian?
Well, we're not being asked to approve this tonight. It's still in the discussion stage, right? It's not, I don't see it listed as an action item.
I think we need to actually draft
Yeah.
a memorandum, but I can at least speak from the administration's side, both from the superintendent's office to the principal at the elementary school to the business office. This is something that we think is win-win for the children in town and for the school district.
Yes, sir.
I'm Dave Poitras,
Okay, Dave.
president of the league now. I was under the understanding that we were gonna have some action tonight. The only reason I asked this is we're trying to do the improvements that we wanna do as strictly volunteers. We had our board meeting the next night after this. Jay Cantor surprised me and came to the meeting and said he's ready to move forward and do what he needs to do in there as soon as possible at no charge to the league. And when somebody tells you they wanna do it for no charge, we wanna do it yesterday. I don't know if anybody have any objection to us starting the work. The letter of agreement or whatever you wanna do, we're pretty easy as far as what you wanna put in there. We just wanna make sure that if we go in there and spend the time and energy and sweat and some money that we have that preferential use from the time he said that I spoke about last week. That's really all I have to say about it.
Thanks, Dave. Brian?
I would make a motion then, see how it goes, but I would make a motion that we approve the request subject to being able to reach a memorandum of understanding or a contract of some kind that's satisfactory to both sides. But as a way of showing our support for it, I would move that we support it with that contingency, and including the contingency of the appropriate language with regard to, you know, pesticide or fertilizer and things of that nature. So I'd make that motion. Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes.
So we'd be okay with moving?
Well, we'll direct you back to the superintendent or
Okay.
whoever he tells you to talk to.
Okay.
So let the N-Star crew to hold off for a week or two.
Why don't we can touch base tomorrow.
Okay.
If you call Barbara and she can patch it through by cell or vice versa.
Sure, sounds great, thank you.
Next item, Monomoy gear license agreement.
Not the goals. You're skipping the goals.
I don't have that on my
I'll
agenda.
get it under mine.
Oh, okay. This is really just for informational purposes for you, so you know the activity that's taken place. As you know, a couple of years ago, we had a contract with a vendor, and there was a percentage of the sales. We had certain items, and if they sold those items, a percentage of the sales